Welcome to Austin, man.
Cause we Austin, Texas, marching, stepping, hands on our weapons, cause boys be flexing. Daily in the game like a pin 'em off the chain. These boys are hard to tame, can't do nothing love it, man. Cause we Austin, Texas, marching, stepping, hands on our weapons, cause boys be flexing. Daily in the game like a pin 'em off the chain. These boys are hard to tame, can't do nothing love it, man. Well, I be bouncing while in Austin and them boys gon' hate. Some boys be popping trunk, but I be popping tailgates. The trophy truck sitting on book, I'm about to get loose.
What's up, world? This is Albert Redeaux, a.k.a. Mad Creole, for the Austin Icon Podcast. I got one of my good friends, somebody I really wanted to get in here and do an interview with. He's an Austin hip-hop artist. He's also the creator CEO of the famous Austin Hip Hop Awards. I want you to welcome back Broly G. Bully, a.k.a. George Vondoom. What's up, man?
What's going on, world? What's up, Mad Creole, man? Long time.
What's happening? Man, I wanted to get deep into your story because your story is more interesting than a lot of people's, man. It's like I really have I've heard bits and pieces of your story, and then I never really talked to you just directly, like to say, okay, what like your life, you know what I mean? Just we always around each other, but we never just like sat down like, man, what happened, or you know, where you come from and all that good stuff. Where are you born and raised first?
Well, I was born in a city called Salisbury, Maryland. Just on the other side of just on the south side of the Mason-Dixon line. Just that much.
Okay.
Not far from Baltimore and DC and all that, maybe 45 minutes to an hour, depending on how you drive. Came to Texas when I was 16, but I was up in Denton, up North Texas and all that, Dallas, all that.
Okay.
And by the time I was 17, I was in Austin and been here ever since.
Oh, man. See, that's a hell of a journey. Was you doing music like early in life? When did you start rapping, or just doing music, period?
I've been writing poetry since I can remember. And so like I used to try to hide it because it wasn't the cool thing to do.
Yeah,
so,
no.
You know what I mean? I mean, you write poetry. Like,
Trust
if I
me,
had the same mentality now, or then that I have now, then I wouldn't have gave a shit. But you know,
Yeah.
I just spent a lot of time, you know, young kid, video games, playing ball with the homies and the brothers and all that.
Yeah.
And then when I would be to myself, write down some poetry and all that, I started writing rhymes like for music and actually recording. I say recording using that term loosely. I'm finna date myself.
Don't worry. I'm very dated and seasoned, so don't worry.
First time I ever recorded, I put a cassette tape in one side of the boombox and had another cassette tape on the other side of the boombox, and I would let the music play, and then push the play and record button with the tape in the top of the cassette. That was my first experience recording, and I hated how I sounded because I didn't know I sounded like that.
Yeah, trust me, I definitely can identify with that. That you think that's your first hell of a recording until you play that shit back and you go, hold up, does my voice sound like that?
What is that?
What happened to the music? It don't sound like what it sound like on the radio when people's music come.
You know, it was a little confusing. I didn't know nothing about writing bars, of course. I thought all you was doing was sitting there saying words. I didn't know nothing about where the beat's supposed to drop in, with the 16, where the hook is at. If you could actually put, 32 bars on a single track. Like when I first thought I was counting bars right, I would write 32 bars for 16 bars.
Oh, wow. So you was writing you was writing volumes. You weren't writing songs. Hell, you had shit.
Yeah, I was just doing
eight songs per record.
Yeah, I told because at that time it was always a third verse.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Definitely. So I would I be I be writing soliloquies and all that.
See, that's
Yeah,
awesome. Do you come from a musical family, or is it just you? You the only one?
I come from I would say not necessarily musical, but entertainment kind of.
Okay.
My dad, um, he did some singing and stuff when he was younger,
Hmm.
but nothing major. I have an aunt who acted. It was in the movie Stomping at the Savoy.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
um,
awesome.
yeah, man. I I want to say she was in a few other things, but she was definitely in Stomping at the Savoy. But my little brother, he does plays all up and down. Well, I think he's kind of retired now, but
Hmm.
he do plays all up and down the East Coast.
Got you. So
And
y'all
then
are definitely
yeah,
an art family, art driven family.
yeah, and my brother, he's a cartoonist.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he draws and does 3D imaging and all that. Comes up with his
Man,
own characters and all that stuff.
see now that's awesome. See, I like that. That's like that shows you the broadness. Like that's all different types of industries all rolled up into the arts. It makes
Yeah,
sense. It makes
yeah, for
sense. So when
sure.
you,
I feel like we really, as a as not necessarily as a family as a whole, but just as gathered together between all of us, just fell in love with the arts in some way, shape, form, and fashion. Like, I mean, I have a time in my life where I was, you know, I guess you could say gang banging or whatever,
mhm,
but I also like going to the Smithsonian. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, like,
right,
it's always been there. I've always enjoyed. I don't want to say the finer things, but the more talented side of human beings, I've always enjoyed it. I've always
yeah,
enjoyed, well, what did you do to come up with this? I just got back from Mexico a couple weeks ago, and I didn't care to be on the port. I didn't care to be anywhere where any of the tourists would be at. I didn't care for that. Take me to the woods. Take me where
right.
the people are. Take me where the
Where the
people
real
are out
people are.
here. Yeah,
That's right.
where
Yeah,
Mimo out here cooking tortillas barehanded and all that. Take me over there. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? I
You want
don't.
to see the bear. You don't want to see all the what they have
Yeah, I
created
don't want
as
to see where
a.
you trying to hustle and scam everybody for
Yeah,
just because we just came. No, don't do that. You know what
we
I'm
used to do
saying?
that all
Like,
the
show me
time,
something
man.
I've never seen before. And
That's true.
I ended up seeing a few things I never seen before, and I absolutely enjoyed it. But show me what the people do with their hands, so to
That's
speak.
exactly what it is. We used to do that. Even when I was in the military, I would do that. Even when I got out, me and you got the same kind of thought process. I would never. I don't want to see Miami. I didn't want to see Miami. I
Yeah.
left the Billboard, the Latin Billboard Music Award. I left that whole little area and took off and went all into the hood, and I want to see the
Mhm.
people. I want to see the McDonald's that's in the hood. I don't want to. I don't want to eat over here. And then, like you said, it's two different thought processes.
Yeah. Why come all the
You
way
can't.
over here and be around the people that you gonna see when you go back to America for anyway?
Right. That's exactly what I'm saying. Every time I go somewhere, I would always do that. I don't care what country I was in. I would always want to just see the people, and because it would shock me when you see real people when I was in the military, like literally eating and drinking the water that they peed in. It threw me all the way to the
Mm.
left. I was like, wow, okay, hold on. So y'all don't have food? Like you can't just you can't just hustle. You ain't nobody out here got no money. I mean, what's going
Yeah.
on, man? And then it made me realize that how, even though, like you said, you can grow up in the hood, you can be all the things you can name. You can be gangbang, you can be whatever you want. But when you get around real people that they have zero, I mean, when I say zero, they have nothing. They are literally going outside, taking the water from where they pee and go boiling it so they could drink it. You on a whole nother level with me. I'm
Hmm.
it wasn't that bad in my mind. It wasn't that bad for me.
Yeah, after a while, you start thinking about it and be like, you know what? It really isn't that bad. It
No, I
really,
can
it
hustle.
really, it
Well, who
really,
you gonna
it really.
rob out in the sticks? Who you gonna rob in Mexico in the sticks?
Listen, man. So while I was there, it rained, right?
Yeah.
And this is what brought me to reality. So before it rained, I'm walking and I'm seeing these guys doing construction in the middle of like in the middle of the street with not one piece of heavy equipment. They had
Oh wow.
they had shovels, pickaxes, and they was in a hole that say if the guy was, it don't matter how tall he was, but you know how tall I am. Like if it would come up to my
Yeah.
chest, if I was standing in the hole, it would be up to my chest, and they just dug this hole with there was no heavy
No
machinery,
machinery.
none of that.
Oh my
So
God.
I'm like, damn, like they really out here working.
Yeah, that's
So
work.
then,
That
it starts raining, and I'm just looking around, and we're in the heart of the city, and the water has nowhere to go. They have no drains to
oh,
drain it.
that's right. That's
It's
right.
just
That's right.
so
They
there's
don't have drain
no
systems.
real infrastructure to be able to just, at the very least, drain the water in the streets.
That's right. They
And I'm
don't
like,
have all that.
damn. So if a hurricane was to hit this spot,
It's on and popping. You just drowned.
yeah, they just gonna have to wait it out for the most part.
You
Like,
better
you
learn
know what
that
I'm saying?
shit. You better learn how to swim real quick.
And I'm like, but this is how these people live. They got kids, they got
Yeah,
work, they got
that's
family.
right. This is every day. What if your business is there? Your business is wiped out.
See what I'm saying? So I'm
That's
saying all
see.
this to say, I like to see and experience the people, because when you see and experience the people, you see and experience real talent, culture, arts. And that's kind of what I'm into. I mean, I do a bunch of different shit, but
Yeah, that's the
that right
main. That's the
there,
heart of it.
yeah,
That's
man,
the
like,
core. That's the core of it.
yeah, I really,
And
so I spent money when I was over there, but I spent money on things that you could tell people had handmade.
right.
You know
Yeah,
what I
they
mean?
made it from scratch.
You know,
Not the
I just,
commercialism stuff.
yeah, and I think as a family, I think we're all like that. Like me and my brother,
Yes.
even my
Yeah.
mom. If my mom wears a lot of rings and jewelry.
Mm,
She really is attracted to those pieces that you could tell somebody like took their time on and probably made by hand or with little equipment,
right.
like with a piece of stone in the middle of it or something like that. It's the type of stuff she likes. Like we're all kind of the same as far as that aspect.
So before I forget, so now you went. We were back. You got to Texas when you was a teenager.
Hmm.
So what were you already doing music at that time, or did you? I mean, how far before you got to Austin did you in between that
So
time?
I never, I never stepped foot in a real or makeshift studio until I got to Austin.
Okay. So you
Um,
had the rhymes, you had the poetry and the rhymes and everything ready. You just didn't. You hadn't gotten in there yet. You hadn't gotten to record.
Correct. I had already, and I was always looking for somebody who rapped or was into the music the way that I was, which was
Hmm.
hard pressed for me to find because everybody would say, "Yeah, I rap now," but
Yeah.
back then,
Yeah.
um, we was able to tell you, "Nah, nah, 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 nah. Try that. Try something else, bro."
Yeah.
We was
That
able
ain't
to
gonna
do
get it.
that back then. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
hip hop. I ain't gonna say hip hop. Rap is the only style of music where it's not your taste. It doesn't mean that they can't do it.
Right.
Gospel music, if somebody can't sing, and they're gonna be like, nah.
Correct.
Country
Yeah, you
music the
can't.
same way, nah, 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 nah.
That's right.
Even rock and roll, if you know,
Oh no, yeah, all the forms are
all the
very
forms
strict.
of music, you can tell somebody that they cannot do it except for rap, and
That
that
is very
hurts
true.
my soul. There is
Yeah,
a structure, not necessarily a structure that you have to follow, but within that, there's still a structure that you have to follow. You have to be able to rhyme on a certain part of the beat. You have to be able to pull a certain cadence. You have to be
yeah,
able to, MC. MCing is a lost art form within rap. The people just be get on there and
yeah.
making noise and then saying whatever, and because the industry can make however much off of it, they're going to.
Correct.
You
I think it's
know,
always been that way with rap music. It's always been that way. It's
yeah.
always we
Once
always
because
had
you
that.
remember they tried to get rid of it at first, and then
Yeah.
yeah, they tried to get rid of rap music at first. It's like where weed is at now. They tried to get rid of it,
Right.
and then when they figured out that they couldn't beat it, they said, "Let's join it and let us make all the money off of it."
That's true. I
You
think
know?
you know what? It's kind of a regional thing. I think if you look at it in that way, it's like when I remember the original, back in the beginning, then you start moving through history. If you look at rap music, how it's evolved, the problem is not so much of the industry; it's how the rest of the country viewed hip hop. Because here we didn't, we did not. Our favorite MCs started out with the typical, everybody from New York, but then it evolved into California. But then when Rap a Lot came along, and when that movement kicked off, it was a whole different situation, because then we started realizing down south that, wait a minute, we have something to say, but we're not going to get let in. Nobody's going to let us in the door. And that became an issue. And after we figured it out, how to get in the door, the industry shut down the East Coast for a minute, where we pretty much took over. Now, down south is different. We have different, you go to Alabama, you go to Louisiana, you go to Texas, you go to all these different places. Everybody has a different form of hip hop. It's almost like a different country. We talk
Yeah,
different, different dialects. We speak different. Education is different. So you get a Scarface from Houston, but then you might get somebody from Alabama who rap a little different, and it's more, the cadence is pretty easy, or it may be more trap style, or
yeah,
the bounce music and that kind of thing. And it's just evolved into something where now it's ABCDEFG type thing versus where we started at, where it was more like East Coast, and where you had to break down a song and have a hook. And it is different. I think my mindset in my age group, I have to accept that the rap music that I originally loved and cherished, that form is no longer there,
yeah. It's no
except,
longer, and it's
yeah,
dated. You
yeah,
can
it's
tell.
dated.
And
It's
I
not
mean,
viable.
and I don't have a problem with it being the art form not being what I grew up for, because everything
Right.
evolves. It doesn't matter what it is. Everything
That's
evolves. So I
correct.
don't have an issue
That's
with
right.
that. My
No.
main issue is, so say you got a Memphis rapper and you got an Atlanta rapper.
Right.
It's the South, but it's going to sound different. But even within that, if you take Outkast, if you take Ti,
That's a good example.
and you take them, they still follow
That's right.
the format of you have to be able to. You're
That's
not
right.
just letting you jump on the microphone just because you want to be on the microphone. I don't
That's
care
right.
if you're from the. I mean, growing up, being from Maryland, growing up, my favorite rapper was Mystical. So don't. I've always been no. If you know what you're doing, you know what you're doing.
That's
If you
right.
trash, you trash. It's that simple.
I think it's more like, when you think about party rapping, I guess back when I was young, we
Mm,
had rappers in that day and age where you had like real hardcore in our mind at that time. Like, for example, KRS-One. KRS-One pop up. You didn't think of KRS-One as no, oh, we gonna go to the club and go, candy rapper, partying, that kind of thing.
mm,
That wasn't the thought process. But then there's other rappers that they would have fun with the record. They just play, it's not serious. They're not talking about political subjects. They're just having fun. And
yeah.
so at that time, you'd have a rapper, okay, we have fun with this, but then we have some serious content. And over the time, it seems like we've gotten more happy, happy, happy. And then the happy now has turned into like I don't know, more of a sexual drug happy movement. And then the serious rappers are, that really, like you said, that are more, let's work on this. I want my music to have a certain tone.
Mm,
Kendrick Lamar is a good example.
yeah.
You still have those rappers, but you have a lot of the other ones too. So the thing is, you kind of got I guess you look at it as kind of cool and then it's kind of messed up at the same time. It's almost on choice. We didn't have a choice back then. Now at least we have a choice. I mean, you can at least go online and you can find somebody that'll fit your, you know, your profile, I guess, versus, back then, if you were trash, you was just trash. You wouldn't get no kind of love at all. You weren't getting
Yeah.
on the mic.
I
You weren't
remember.
getting
I
on the mic.
remember Chuck D. I remember Chuck D. talking about how Melly Mel came on the mic and it was like, get these whack niggas off the stage.
There you go.
And then
There
the
you go.
interviewer asked Chuck D, so what did y'all do? He said, we got off the stage and got better.
That see,
You know what I'm
that's the
saying? Like, if
difference.
we could, I just wish we could hold each other accountable and teach, you
And
know.
you know what? That's going to be a
And
problem.
it is because, man, and this ain't a shot at the new generation of what is presumed to be
No,
hip hop
no, no, no.
today, because there's been trash artists in every
You
era
know
of
what,
hip hop.
man? I'm happy that when I was a kid, rap music, and it went from not even having a radio station to now. I mean, we didn't think rap music was gonna last. I mean, we thought it was. People kept telling us, "Oh, it's 10 years, 5 years. You ain't gonna y'all that poetry, you rapping. What is that? Y'all rhyming and stuff. I mean, nobody like that. Nobody doing that." That's
Mhm.
evolved into a $1 trillion industry all over the world. Everybody raps all over the
Multi-trillion-dollar
world,
industry. You got
all
Asians
over the
rapping,
world.
and you got people
French
rapping
people
in
rapping.
Mandarin and shit. Yeah,
Yeah, so I mean, I'm so excited about that. And if that's what the kids like, my kids, I listen. Trust me, my sons. Oh my god, hey, my one that drives now, hey, Dad, get in the car with me. Okay, listen. Okay, you like this, right? You like this, son? I'm not feeling that. I just can't do it. I don't know what that is. Then he'll put something on and he'll go, what about this? And I go, okay, because first I'm like, dude, you come from a musical family. So how are you gonna bring me something that I definitely am not gonna listen to? But I see where he's at. He is his generation, but then he'll find something in his generation that he knows I will like, and he'll
yeah,
go, "How about that?" And I go, "Man, I like that." Now whoever that is, I'm riding with that, But that other
yeah.
stuff you gave me, I don't know about that.
That's because there's still people who respect the art form for what it's supposed to be respected for,
That's right.
and I love that. I mean, maybe some of this stuff should have been created into a new genre of music instead of being attached on
That
to
now there
hip
you
hop.
go. That's what it is. I think
Yeah,
that's what the problem is. We have too many different. I don't know. It's all like, okay, this is hip hop. No, I mean, yeah, it's kind
yeah.
of
I
a
mean,
version of it.
yeah, you can put it within the conglomerate that is hip hop. You can
You
put
need
it together
subgenres.
if you want, but at the same time, I don't even want to say subgenre. Like this trap, I think should have its own. Don't put it, because if you take Garth Brooks
Right. Okay.
and then you take Travis Tritt and then you take the Dixie
Okay.
Chicks, although their
Hmm.
sound is a little different, you can still say that's country music.
Yeah. Yeah. They're all part of one unit.
So that if you take Lil Pump, then you take Nas,
Okay.
and then you take I don't know Lil B.
Whoa.
You
Yeah,
cannot
that's
put them in the same category of music.
no, they're
I'm not
not the
I'm not
same category.
knocking their music. They got
No,
fans.
it's
It is
just
what it
it's
is.
different. It,
But
it
it's
should have its
different.
own right.
It's different.
Definitely.
Just because, so, like, put it like this. Let's go back to Garth Brooks. You take Garth Brooks, and then you take Rihanna. Not Rihanna. Beyonce.
Okay.
Yeah, they're both singing. They're
They
both
can both be
singing.
singing country. They can both be singing some kind of form of
Yeah,
country, but you can't put
but you can't
Beyonce.
put them in the same
Yeah.
category. Like they're
Yeah.
both using the same style of music type because they're both singing. That doesn't mean that
Right.
they're both the same. Just because somebody is in a hip hop type beat or a cadence
Then they
doesn't mean that
automatically
they're
stick
don't
them
you know
right.
man you been man don't put them fools in their own category, bro. Yeah,
So
T Pain utilized auto tune to his favor,
he
but the
did.
way that these kids use it now, it's got
Oh
to be
man,
its own genre of music, bro. Because
yeah, that's
it's
all they
not the
use.
same.
That's their whole thing. I mean,
Yeah,
that's their cadence. If you want to call it that, it's a cadence
yeah,
for them. That's
it's
their
that's
whole little
their
thing.
thing, and I don't, and I'm not saying that to say that I don't listen to any of these guys because I do. I would be a liar if I said I didn't.
Yeah. No, I
But
mean,
a
and
lot of it,
again, that's what they like.
yeah. But it's just like you have a playlist, and in that playlist, you can have Anthony Hamilton, and then Lil Kim will come on, and then such and such is you listen to a mixture of different things. They don't mean it's all the same thing. It's
Right. Right.
I
I
feel like
agree.
with black music, quote unquote, and there's no such thing as black music because we created 90% of the damn music that is listened to anyway. But that's
Yes.
neither here nor there.
Right.
Um,
Pretty
within
much
black
all of it.
music, it's like they try to put all of that shit together. Remember they before it got to this point, everything was hip hop and R&B, hip hop slash
Right.
R and
Right.
B, hip hop
Hip hop
slash
slash
R
R
and
and
B.
B.
So now it's rap slash hip hop, rap slash hip hop, rap slash hip. Put them motherfuckers
They don't
over
know
there.
what to do with it. They don't know what to do. That's the problem. They don't know how to categorize what
They
to
don't know
do
how
with.
to
They love.
categorize it. All they know how to do is leech.
That's
It,
true.
there's no A&R position anymore that I've seen.
No.
I don't know of any A&Rs anymore.
No, I've never
So
heard that's
there's
gone.
no artist development area.
That's been gone. That's been gone since
See
the
what I'm saying?
90s.
So all they're doing now is they piggybacking off of people that they think they can make a quick dollar off of. If you got views up
Yeah,
already, they're gonna
that's it.
snatch you because of your views. They're gonna give you
That's
a
the
record
game.
deal, and they can still put you within the 360. It's not even called a 360 no more. Whatever the hell it's called, they're gonna put you
Yeah.
within that. Then you're gonna be in debt to your eyeballs, and then they're gonna spit you out and go get another
And
one.
and you
Then
be
that
broke.
pattern is being used for I don't know how long, and it's even worse now because
And it's only in our genre of music.
it's
They
only
don't
in
do
our
that.
genre. Not only is
They
it
don't do
only in
that.
our genre of music, we have people who are speaking out against this, and these kids are still out here trying to sign record deals.
I know, and it's
You
sad.
see what you see the interview with people like Mace. You have people who say, "Well,
That's
yeah,
right.
I did this song, this song, this song, this song." You see the TLC interview, and then the people who say, "Well, you should have read your contract," which is true. However, we are forgetting that the people who signed those contracts at that time are not the people who they are now. Meaning, Mace wasn't 40 years old. He
That's
was
right.
he was a teenager, he was 18, 19. Some of
Well,
these
it's
kids
it's
was 16, 17 years old when they were signing these contracts. And these
that's
record
right.
labels and that includes Puff, was utilizing these people,
Well, the contracts have
utilizing these
always been
children to
unfair.
make millions off of.
The contracts have always been unfair. They've always been
Yeah.
just completely
The
out of.
contracts ain't for nothing but the label. It's not for you. It's not
No,
for
it's
you to
crazy.
win.
It is the craziest
You
thing.
know what I'm
There's
saying?
no there's no no business you ever been in your life where you tell somebody that look, you write something that you own and that you create, and then I'll give you $10 just to break it down so people can understand. I'll give you $10 to use your creation, And now that I have it, I own your creation. And now, since I gave you the $10,
You owe me.
you get you get a royalty of a penny. Every time you make a penny, you're gonna pay me back out of that penny for my $10. This is the only place that you like. Wait a minute.
And
So
they
hold
just
on.
let it, and they just let it rock
They
because
let it ride.
they figured it out back in the day. Whoever, I don't necessarily want to blame Russell and them, but they was, they
No,
was
no,
the
no, no.
catalyst for hip hop at the time.
No,
So,
this structure goes so far back to the. This goes back to jazz and bebop and
oh yeah,
before rock and roll and
yeah,
I.
so they're taking they're taking it and say, all right, well, let me dangle this cash advance in their face.
That's
I'm gonna
what it is.
dangle. I'm gonna give you. Remember when record deals was crazy, 1.5 million,
Oh
five
yeah.
million.
Oh yeah.
They dangling this in your face to somebody who ain't never had it, especially as black people, because yeah, Black Wall Street was around and
That's right.
Madam CJ's, and there was a few that somehow, some way finagled their way around white America and got this bread. But as a whole, as a people, we didn't know how to spend money. We didn't know how to take money in. So as
This
soon as
this is
somebody
a
say, "Hey,
slavery
take
thing,
this
man.
$1 million,"
It's a
you see this
slavery thing.
cash, you're gonna try to grab it to get out of the. You know what I'm saying? And
The
then
the
you ain't even read the contract, or you did read the contract, but because the lingo is meant to confuse you.
it's a slavery concept. It came from slavery. It and if anybody is educated enough to understand that when we were free, we were never free at first. We were free, but then where were we going to go? We had to work. We had to get,
Yeah,
so when that same slave had to go to the store,
still had
now
to
he's
deal with
free.
shit.
Hey man, I need to get some milk. I need to get some eggs. Okay, well, do you have any money? No, I don't. Okay, well, we'll give it to you on what they call time. And that's what my grandmother, when I was real young, my grandmother, she used to tell me that I'm the youngest. I'm the last born in my family. So I'm the youngest, oldest generation, so everybody's like 60, 70, 80 years old. I'm the youngest in that particular generation. So my
Yeah,
grandmother would tell me all the time, baby, don't buy nothing on time. Don't buy nothing on time. Like, what is on time? She meant
credit,
credit.
credit. Yeah,
Credit. That's where this whole thing came from. Like you said, if you
yeah,
bought into that system, well, we'll give you eggs, rice. So you go feed your family, you come back, hey man, I need some more of this. I'll give you some more. It's always on credit, but then you're broke because you never make any money because they constantly are taking the money. They let you
hmm
work, but you're not working for what you actually are worth. And that turned into these contracts and this, at one point in time, black people didn't even have, they were writing music and white America was singing the music. They would
yeah,
re-record it, put it back out and make
yeah,
royalties from it. And we didn't make no royalties from it.
yeah.
So now that's all they did was take that
That's
system.
why copyright came around.
That's right. They bent
Yeah,
it and they bent it into what it is now, and it's like, wow. I mean, the system is still going after all. Like you said, it's like a
yeah.
trap. People keep
It
falling
is,
in it.
and they just steady falling for it. I remember, I mean, getting back to me coming into town. I remember really wanting a record deal at one point, and knowing I was wild talented to be able to, jump in and
Hmm.
get something done. The first person I went to the studio with here was Big Texas,
Okay. Shout out Big
or
Texas.
Tex Garcia as they call him now. I
That's all
definitely
right.
credit him with taking me to my first studio, put me on my first song, had me in the studio with Al D. And
Okay.
I'm new to Texas, so I'm not registering how big this was or how
Right. Right.
important that was to my personal career. And I just went in there. There was no song structure for me. They had rapped a song about the song was called Game Over. This is
Okay.
before the little flip and what's called the Game Over. It was called Game Over, and it was about women getting caught up in their own. and I got on there and I got the rapping all fast about just random shit, and he ended up telling me, he ended up being like, yeah, we're not gonna keep that verse. He ended up being like, yeah, we're not gonna keep that verse, and that kind of messed with me a little bit, but it made me get better.
That's right.
Al D
That's
was
right.
like, yo, he remind me of, I can't, man, I swear on my dead twins. Al D looked me in the face and said, man, you remind me of a young Ro.
Okay.
I didn't
I can see
necessarily
that.
know what that meant. I
I
didn't
can
know what it
definitely.
meant.
I get it. Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, at the time I didn't know what it meant. I was because, like I said, I was brand new to Texas like that, or at
Right.
least the
Right.
Austin area. And I was like, all right, cool. And then because of the cadence I used, the sound of my voice and all that, I got it. So I was like, all right, maybe back to the drawing board. Let me, you know, do better and all that. And then later on, I found out, oh, well, no, that's DJ Screw's brother, and this is that, and this and that. And I was like,
Right. Right. Right.
oh, okay. Who was
Yeah.
DJ Screw again? And then they find, and then they, they explained to me who Screw was and really, really put me on the music and all of that. And I was like, damn, I wish I had really knew that at that time. I could have kind
Right.
of picked his brain more,
True.
and
True.
after that, I ended up with this guy named Rodney. He used to run a spot called White House Records.
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
this was this is the first time I had ever seen one of the Pro Tools soundboard, the big board.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and he had it in his apartment. I was like, "What the?" He was
Wow.
like, he told me come to the studio because I had got in some trouble. I had got in
Mm,
some trouble and got locked up. And there was a guy in there who used to just beatbox all the time. He was like, "Yeah, nah, I make beats," and that intrigued me at the time because everybody wasn't making beats, everybody wasn't rapping. You just had a select few, and
right.
when you those select few that you had, you know, for the most part, it was a lot of talent within those. And I was always intrigued by it. He's like, "Nah, go to such and such and talk to such and such." And, so all right, cool. I met Apollo from fucking Texas Hard Hitters when I was locked up.
Yeah.
Um,
Definitely. Definitely.
yeah, all this is putting the time frame. This is early 2000 and all. So I get out. I kept the dude's number. He told me who to hit up. I hit the dude. The dude said, "Yeah, come to the studio." And I pulled up. And I was at an apartment. I was like, "This can't be all right." So this is before cell phones.
Hmm.
Dating myself some more. So I had to map quest the address and shit. You know what I'm saying? So I walk up to the apartment. I knock on the door. He opened the door. We speak. His girl's in there. The kids is in there. He's like, "Yeah, we in the back." And I walk back there, man. And I shit you not. This man had he had two keyboards. One of them was the Phantom S88,
Oh yeah.
and then the other one was, I believe, was a Yamaha something. But that Phantom
Mm.
S88
Yeah,
was the
Phantom
one
was a
that,
boy.
boy,
God. You got
I
my
wasn't
mind
even.
go. Ooh,
You
wait.
know what I'm saying? I wasn't even into boards and stuff like that. When I seen that board in particular, I was like, "Oh my gosh, bro!"
And the
Right?
things it
So
could do. Oh my
yeah, and
god.
then as soon as you look to the left, there's this whole wall on the left of the room that we were in was covered by this big ass board. He said,
Hmm.
"Yeah, the sound card for that bitch was $10,000."
That's right. Yeah,
I'm
that
like,
wasn't no punk. That's not no punk boy.
"Yeah,
Yeah, that was for
that's that
real.
big ass Pro Tools, whatever." I was like, "Yeah, hey man, you like it, I love it." It was beautiful to me. You
Oh,
know
it
what I'm
is
saying?
definitely
Yeah, it was
a lot of
beautiful to
power.
me. He had made shift the closet. He made shift the closet into a booth.
To a booth. Yeah, he
Yeah, and
was
then
just
he had
doing it.
all this other, and like I said, I had already been trying to. without saying I was studying.
Right.
I was already
He's
into looking up past shit about music, and
right.
he had
Right.
all these records in there, and I was just looking at them in amazement, and then I came across a Elvis Presley record, and I asked him
Okay.
why he had it. He's like, "Man, you don't know about Elvis?" I said, "Yeah,
Mm.
I do know about Elvis. I know Elvis was a pedophile. I know Elvis
You broke right
stole.
into
Yeah, as I know Elvis
it.
was a pedophile. I know Elvis stole 80% of his music at the very least from black people." He's like, "But they couldn't have stole the music because," I said, "No. At that time, there was no such thing as copyright."
That's very
I
true.
said, I said, "You can look all over this record, and I promise you, you'll not see a copyright C anywhere on that record anywhere."
Yeah,
I said,
totally
"Look at
different
any record
industry.
from back that time. There was no copyrights at that time."
Totally different industry back then.
Yeah, I said he
Totally different
stole
industry.
all of his music. And he's like, "Man, how do you know all that?" I said, "Man, that's all I do is sit around and look at documentaries like The Show and look and listen to KRS-One when he do these interviews and anything about music that we created. I try to listen to and find out." You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? He's like, "Damn, I need to keep you around." And we made some music and all that. My stupid ass ends up back in jail. Um, and then we kind of lost touch because when I got out, I was super struggling. If you fast forward to when I met y'all, and
Mm.
I wasn't necessarily even with a label at that time. As you can see, I was too busy worried about bitches and being in the club. You know what I'm saying?
Man. Yep.
Fighting niggas
That
in the
was
middle of the street and all that. You know what I'm
yeah, that was
saying?
true. That's real. That was very real.
Hey man, I was telling somebody that I got in a fight with a dude and body slammed him in the middle of the road, and he popped back up like it was nothing.
I was I'm a witness to this, and without going into detail because we do not want
Statute
crimination.
of limitations type shit.
Yes, man. Yes, I still to this day do not know how that dude got up. I don't.
Right.
He popped up literally. He hit the ground, looked like
Popped
a
up like it was
cartoon.
nothing. I
It
like,
was
you
a
know what? Yeah, let
cartoon.
me go on and get up out of here, bro, because I had already pieced him a couple times, bro. I've seen like, this is making me sound bad, but I had already pieced him a couple times. But I'm telling you, I seen the noodle legs on him. He was on something. I don't know
He
what
was
he
on a
was
lot. He was on a lot of something
on. He was on something.
because he got up, and I think he apologized and walked the hell off. he was, I'm serious. He bounced back up and he looked around and he just, I'm sorry, and he walked. I said, man, oh, I said, oh,
Straight on the
oh.
concrete, bro.
But see
Straight on the
that's
damn concrete. He popped up like it was nothing. You know what I'm saying?
who
But
who was you recording with? Who was you recording with then at that time, or were you even
I think I was still with or messing with Black Diamond and
okay?
Loveless Records, which is Dino and
Yeah,
Hands
yeah.
Down and all them. I think I was still
Shout
messing
out to
with them
them.
at the time. Yeah, shout out
Shout
to
out
them,
to
man.
them.
Real beef. Like the reason the beef started was the dumbest shit in the world. So I didn't per se have the beef until
Right,
certain shit started being directed my way.
right.
But when I say this was a real beef within the city,
Mm,
man, I'm talking about guns being involved, people being
yeah,
jumped, fights,
yeah.
some
Mm,
people having knives pulled on them, some people having people showing up to their house with shotguns. Man, I'm talking about a real beef. And luckily, um, nobody was seriously injured within it. I
right.
got into a couple of fights with them. Um, I mean, this guy, he's passed away now, so I mean, I guess it wouldn't make no difference. But you know what? Nah, I don't want to speak on his name
Yeah.
in that light. Just know shit got really real. And
Trust me, it was a lot of those little skirmishes and little beefs and little, and that's another thing about Austin. A lot of people don't really understand. It's so
yeah,
much. That's why they ask us, well, why are we not so together in the industry and this and that and the other? It's a lot of street stuff that's mixed in with some business stuff, and from we were kids all the way from our neighborhoods all the way
yeah,
to when we got older to, like you said, little skirmishes and things is dumb,
yeah,
girls and money and
yeah. And then
drug.
by time we realized that we should stick together, since we what 6% of the city of Austin.
Right.
But by the time we realized we should stick together, it's quote unquote past our time to be able to do shit. You
That's
know what I'm
right.
saying? Which I don't like that anyway. That pass our
Nah,
time, as if hip
it's
hop
never.
only has a certain amount of time frame to be able to do shit. When Dolly
Nah.
Parton finna be in Austin, no, is it Dolly Parton? Yeah,
Yeah,
Dolly
Dolly
Parton,
Parton's
I
about
believe, finna be
80
in
some
Austin.
years
I
old, man.
guarantee you that shit is. I guarantee you it's sold out.
We're not getting old. It's just, especially myself, I look at it as, we didn't have, when I was starting music, we had a couple of people that were doing music, but they weren't, like, I started when I was 13. So I was already doing R&B and hip hop. And, well, I wasn't doing hip hop, I was doing R&B. And so by the time hip hop really kind of kicked off, in the point where people were actually, recording and doing that kind of stuff, I was already doing music. So when I met Casanova and a lot of those cats back in those days,
Yeah,
DJ Casanova, shout out to him. When I had met him, he's the first one that showed me how to sample. Like, I didn't know how to sample, like using samplers and stuff like that. I didn't know. So I was already doing music, but I just didn't know how to use a sampler. So that's the thing, like back in those days, Austin was growing and we were learning and we were trying to figure out what to do. And there's so many success stories that come from Austin and a lot of street things that happen. And so when you get to be this age that I'm at, I didn't have anybody to come and talk to me or to help me or to even show me and there wasn't a lot of them being displayed. Like, no one said, hey, well, you know this is George Vondoom, this is what he's done.
mm,
You weren't available. I didn't have that person available so I could say, oh, let me go find him and talk to him and find out what's going on. And that's what we're changing, and that's what's going to change, is that we're going to have to take a more of a role and kind of put ourselves in a different situation so that those individuals can find us and say, hey, oh, okay, so there is a past. Yes, there's a past, and in order to go forward, you're going to have to understand that you got to
yeah,
have the knowledge. You got to have the knowledge. So
yeah.
after that, after you started recording in there, then what happened?
So I kind of like I end up going to what is that doggone spot? I end up going to 311,
Okay, okay.
and make a long story short, I seen this group that looked like they had all their shit together. And
Hmm.
when I say that, I mean they
Excuse me.
had the wraps on their and the logos in their vehicle. They had all matching T-shirts and always
Right.
had CDs in hand and all that. And I'm like, oh, who is these? I had no clue what it was. It turned out it was above all with Checkmate, Clint Davis
Yeah.
Williams.
Shout out to Above All Checkmate. What's up?
Yeah, for sure. And I was like, now of course in between that time, I had ended up starting the Austin Hip Hop Awards and all of that, but I had just seen them and it was like, yo, I need to be around something like this. And Check is accredited from me to teaching us as everybody that was within the group.
Hmm.
Get and I wish to God I listened past my own laziness,
Mm.
because he was telling us in '08, '09 about not necessarily streaming, but
Right.
putting yourself on YouTube regularly.
Yeah.
Man, I don't feel like doing that. What I said, man, listen. He said, I'm telling you, this is the future. This is the next wave. I'm telling you, it's the next wave.
That's right.
He said, I'm not going to be doing everything for y'all, but I'm telling you, this is going to be the next wave.
That's correct.
And those who listened didn't. Those who listened did. Those who didn't didn't. And to this day, man, I'm telling you, we had so many videos that we was doing at the time, and he kind of messed up some shit too, because he was putting up videos, and then at the time we ended up. This is when YouTube started to pay out other artists,
Right.
and they started hitting people with the copyright thing if their music was in
That's
the
right.
background.
Yeah.
We
The
had so
content
many
ID.
videos, man. I'm telling you, we had so many videos up. I'm talking about this was 2012, 13, maybe, and that's pushing it. We had so many videos up. I'm talking about at least 300 videos. And I
Wow.
guess he couldn't get back and change all those videos. YouTube's no,
Right. Yeah, because
every
they
one of the
switched out
videos
on
is
it.
gone. Every one of them. You know what I'm saying? They like, yeah, no, we already done gave you several warnings about this copyright shit.
Right. Now
So
you can't.
we're gonna
You
delete the
can't.
channel.
Yeah. That's right.
You know what I'm
That's what
saying?
they
So we
do.
have performance videos. One thing I can say also that I learned from well, I learned from you and Swole, and I learned from Chet is that when you have the opportunity to do something that has to do with furthering your music, make sure your hustle is there and make sure that that opportunity is lucrative to you.
That's correct.
And I'm sitting here watching this dude move, man, and learning about how he had a six figure a six figure not a loan but a six figure grant
Okay.
to start his label. He had Impact all in Billboard, like the group Impact. He had them
Yeah.
in Billboard, and they came up with the little the heel toe song, and they're all the way in
Hmm.
Atlanta with Young Jock and all this other shit. And I'm like, man, this dude is. And then I understood it when I started figuring out who his favorite artists are,
Right.
being Puff, Joe Budden, 50 Cent. I was like,
Right.
okay, so you're learning from quote unquote the masters of getting,
That's right.
you know what I'm saying, getting reaction. The internet part coming from Joe Budden,
Correct.
the the extra grind and hustle and the mentality to be ahead of the curve from Puff,
That's right.
and the attitude and the assholeness from 50 Cent. You
Yes.
know what I'm saying? And he took all that, he put it together, man. And I've told this fool this once or twice, man. But I'll as far as him, man, I'll never denounce or I'll never talk bad about him
Yeah.
because he was really a cornerstone, a anchor, a catalyst to my life as far as the music is concerned to teach someone without knowing that you're teaching them. I love when that shit happens. If
Yeah.
you if you're pointing at this and this and teaching somebody something, it can come off as preachy.
Right.
You
Right.
know what I'm saying? But if you're leading by example and
See, that's why I see him too. I see him in that
yeah,
viewpoint. I see him as a next generation of what we were. I didn't realize that until later. I was like, wow, he had a whole. And it took me to come up there. I actually
yeah,
went to the studio and I looked and I went, oh, this is me. I said, this is me, man. This is what I was doing. Because I couldn't even see myself at that point. I was too busy working. I wasn't really. That's me. I was in the studio, man. I'm working. I'm not thinking about none of that. I'm
hmm
just helping and doing. I'm not, trying to figure out what we, legacy or anything. None of that mess. But like you said, he did something that we did early before there was the internet. I used to tell my artists all the time, I would sit them down, all of them. You can tell, shoot, I've had, I don't know how many artists, probably about 400. All of them, you ask them, they'll tell you. Albert sat me down in the studio and made me fill out my ASCAP paperwork. And this was before the internet. So you had to actually fill out the
Yeah, fill
paperwork
it out.
and send it and send it in the mail. I
Yeah,
made everybody do it. Now the difference is I couldn't mail it out for them. I just made them. I helped them fill it out and get their paperwork filled out. Some of them filled it out and took it with them and did what they needed to do. Some of them didn't. Now, at this point in their life, I've had about maybe several that's come back. Hey man, can you help me? I don't know what's going on, because we get royalties, and I'm trying to tell them you're missing out on your royalties, man, because you didn't fill this out these many years ago. You're not getting the little money that you would have been getting, and now it's time. Now you actually can be getting your money because of the way everything is structured, But like you said, Check, man, he was. I love the fact that that whole organization that he had, man, y'all was some hustling dudes, man. Y'all was out there moving. And
man.
it's, for real, y'all was out there doing some things, man. I was proud to see that. I love it.
Yeah, man. Man, look, it definitely that's kind of what drew me in, seeing all the stuff they was doing and doing the not summer jam. What was that shit they used to do at the Frank Irwin or
Oh
whatever?
yeah,
Yeah,
can't
whatever
remember
it
the
is.
name of it. Yeah,
Yeah, it's having them over there and just seeing them on the road, and I was like, man, this is beautiful. This is what I want. You
right,
know,
definitely.
I mean, unfortunately, between my life and as Gutter said in one of his songs,
Mm,
uh, people come to the studio just to play the game and leave.
yeah, yeah,
People, in other words, people coming over there to waste time. And
yeah,
I ended up
definitely.
pretty much
Yeah,
venturing out on myself. I mean, I'm still above all, regardless, but
correct.
I ventured out by myself. And then when I adopted the George Vondoom persona from my grandfather, that's when everything went up, man. Um, things was difficult at first. I was trying to teach myself how to use Ableton to record in,
Okay.
and through trial and error, by God, I learned. Um,
So you started doing your own production, just complete.
yeah, pretty much. I mean, less than making the beats, I did everything else, the mixing, what little bit of mastering I know how to do,
Mm,
recording myself and holding myself accountable. Because people tell me now I don't put out enough music, but I'm like, why put out something if it ain't right? If it
yeah,
doesn't,
no, that's
if it,
true.
until I get it and it's to me has the sound and the feel to it that I want, I'm not putting it out. Like there's a project, a whole project that I had put out. I know for a fact it is not sonically where it needs to be, but
Right,
because of the
right,
importance of what I was trying to do, I put it out anyway because it's about depression within black men,
right, right.
and I recorded it, brought back a few older songs, and just put it out without a real mix to it.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
I
some of them.
know I
Hey,
got that.
that might be the hit right there, just because what I'm saying. A lot of songs, a lot of albums come out like that
Yeah,
people
it's
like. Man,
raw.
I just threw it out there and like, oh man, it sounds great. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. This because it's
Sometimes
raw. It sound real. It don't sound doctored in the studio with
right.
3, 4, 5, 6 engineers and all of that.
You got to put
You
it the
know.
way you feel it.
Yeah, and this album, writing it, putting it out, legitimately had me in tears writing half of that project because every song, every single song, except for "Bet It All on Me,"
Okay.
is a story of something that I went through, including, depression, attempted suicides, and shit like that.
Right.
So
And see, so you used it
it
as a
was
way
really
of
me on wax.
so it
And
was a health thing. It was helping you. The
yeah,
music was helping you to
yeah,
to find yourself,
Absolutely.
and that's the best music
Absolutely.
you can make. That's what the arts is for, man. It's to heal yourself if you can.
Yeah. So that's why. When I started adopting the George Vondoom persona, that's when I started going on tour, and that's when
And
I,
bring
I
and bring in to explain that. I want you to explain because that is the main. That's what you are. That's just the character. What is that? Tell me what
what
that is.
tell you what George Vondoom is.
Yes, what is it? Where did it come from? Why did you start doing that?
George Vondoom came from a gentleman by the name of George Jones. Here's what's crazy about it while we're talking about it. As I'm sitting in my man cave studio or whatever, and I keep these next to me on my
Okay,
on my studio.
okay,
These belonged to my grandfather before he passed. Like if
got
you
you.
could see how old the can is, like the wear on the can,
Mm-hmm.
like this one right here was made in 2002.
Got you.
I don't know when this one was made. However, he is responsible for who I am. Remember, I said teaching people without knowing that you're teaching them. He's
Right,
part of the reason why I work so much without, you know, telling me that I needed to sustain gainfully employed income to take care of my family. He never told me that. But I'm watching
right.
him all the
Watch
way
him
up
do it.
until the day he died. This man retired from the University of Maryland. He retired, and then at what 66, 65, 67, something like that, he goes back to work. He's like, "No, I mean, this getting this money is cool, but I can get more money if I go to work, and make sure my family taken care of."
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? So I got that aspect from him. But the reason for the the sledgehammer is because of that also. I perform and carry a sledgehammer on stage because of that aspect of him also.
Mm,
The whole John Henry thing, the
got you.
working harder than the steam engine. That was my grandfather.
Right.
Von Doom is the name of Dr. Doom. His real
Hmm.
name is Victor Von Doom.
Correct.
Victor Von Doom wasn't the biggest. He wasn't the strongest, but he was mean as hell and smart as hell.
Correct.
That's my grandfather, man. Like he wasn't the biggest, he wasn't the strongest, but when it came to certain things, he was brilliant. You know what I'm saying? And he taught me so much just by being alive. And each thing that I wear outside of a shirt, each thing that I wear is kind of indicative to him and the things that he's done and things that he's shown me over the years without knowing that he showed me any of it. He yeah, he inspired me performing with no shoes on. He inspired all that without knowing that he inspired all of it.
Got you. See,
So
that's
in the
what I'm talking
beginning
about.
of George Von Doom, it was just a mask, and I built the
Okay.
rest of it,
You just carried. You
pulling
put it together.
put it together from remembering things about him over the years. Because my
Because I'm gonna tell
grandfather,
you.
man, he didn't have running water in his house until right before I left to come to Texas.
Oh man. Whoa.
Yeah.
That's
So he
crazy.
had a well outside. He used to go and prime
Okay.
it and pump the water to
Oh, he was
start the
living.
well.
He was living that old school, boy. That's real.
Yeah, man. He had no plumbing, none of that. He was still using the restroom in a damn bucket and have to
And
change it out and all
outhouses.
that. Yeah.
Oh man. Oh man. That's yeah. Now that's old school.
hmm Yeah, he didn't have none of that until later on. He had bought a triple wide trailer. Um,
He sounds like my grandmother. My
yeah,
grandmother in the
man.
country. She lived in the country like that,
Oh
just
yeah, oh yeah.
roughing it. You like,
Yeah.
man, grandma, my grandma had a washing machine and a dryer. I don't know, my mom and then bought her one. She never used it. She would take her clothes and put it outside and put it on the line and do all that. I used to help her when I was real little. I'd help her and I was like, why don't you use your washing machine? She would never use the AC. She had a little AC unit in the door or in the wall or whatever, a wall unit. Never use it. She would use little box fans and she would open all her doors, man. She didn't use none of
Yeah.
the
Sure wasn't
that's
nothing to do with the
crazy.
technology. Yeah.
None of that. None of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Garden,
man.
all that. See, I love that. That's what I'm telling you. That's where you get that thought. See, I love that. That's what. And for anybody that watches the podcast, you got to go see his show. It's. I don't even know
It's
how to
a fucking
describe it.
movie. It's a
Yeah,
movie.
it's a movie. It's the most. Man, you know what? In this city, you love to have eclectic things. You love to have things that happen, and you say, "Wow, I want to go see that." That's one of those things you want to go see because it's something you can't describe. It's a hell of a show. It's entertainment. It's not just a rap show. It's not you ain't gonna see five dudes running around and you ain't gonna see none of
Yeah.
that.
You see
It's
none
a
of that.
whole show. It's a
I'll
whole
be damned.
show.
I'll be damned if you see any of that.
What about the
People.
Austin Hip Hop Awards? Got to speak on that. Got to get on that one.
Oh man. So because we're live, I can't say this person's name,
Right.
but because he wants to remain anonymous.
Okay.
But the Hip Hop Awards should be back this year,
Okay. Cool.
and
Now
I have
that's good.
I should have one I have one person in particular to thank for that because ooh
Okay.
we. You know, when I first started the Austin Hip Hop Awards, and I still have this somewhere, I just would have to find it. I had a pen and a pad, and I wrote down names,
Mm-hmm.
try to figure out how to incorporate these people to be able to say, yes, this is all the way up until 11 years. 10 of those, well, no, 9 of those was consecutive. Something happened, and then then I did 2 more, and then that was it. Um, I just got tired of publications in the city. Your Austin American Statesman, your
Mm.
Austin Chronicle, uh,
Yeah.
whatever publication that would come out and have their awards. I just felt like they would treat it like the Grammys or something like that. And let me explain what I mean by that. The Grammys happen every year.
Right.
Have you ever seen Tech Nine on the Grammys?
I don't think so. To my knowledge.
He's one of the biggest artists in the world.
Yeah. Technically. Yeah. I mean for real. I'm not
But
I mean for real. A lot
he's
of people don't know
literally the
that.
biggest. If there's a
Yeah.
bigger independent artist, it
He
might
is
be ICP.
huge.
It
He is
might be ICP,
huge.
but he is the biggest
He
independent
was
artist,
this
the
dude's been
biggest merch,
touring.
the biggest fan base, the longest tours. He tours like the WWE when he goes on tour.
I have
You know what I'm saying?
witnessed. I've been on tour and witnessed this man. He is. I don't even. He's a force of nature. For real. He has
And
fans
he's part of the reason why I
everywhere.
perform the way I do too. So,
Yeah, that dude is
you
awesome. And
but
and like you
but
said, but yeah,
my point with that is he's never been on the Grammys, and if he has been
I
nominated
don't
for a
think
Grammy, it's been on that shit where they don't televise.
right. I was
You
just
know what I'm
say that.
saying?
Yeah, they do that.
So I look at these other ones just like that. They're looking at these artists that are getting opportunities that others don't necessarily always get,
Right.
that are performing within the same circles that these magazines and newspapers also perform around and all again. Now I'm not that's not to say that none of these people deserve this award. I'm not saying that, but there's also people that y'all will never look at that are working harder and longer than the people that y'all are acknowledging that y'all have never put on. Like I always use my men's
This is
as
true.
an example, but TPT has never been nominated for any of that. Even if
Mm.
even if it is fan and public voting and public nominations, even if it is, people don't know about T like that because T doesn't be on the scene like that. What is T doing? T
Right.
is too busy literally creating video games that are of his own. He is his own
Right.
character in his own video game. There's
Right.
not
Right.
another Austin artist there's not another artist that's doing that in Texas that I know of. And that
Mm-hmm.
includes the bigger artists.
Right.
He has placements on different movies. He has songs with Cannabis. And okay, well, Cannabis is old. All right, cool. He got songs with Lil Wayne. He got songs with Pusha T. He got songs with Ross.
Right.
He's doing what it takes to do whatever he needs to do as far as the music is concerned. But he'll never be he won't be nominated for anything as far as that's concerned.
Right.
You know, he'll never be nominated for any of that shit. And stuff like that is what really, you know, made me feel like I needed to start my own. People are gonna complain regardless. Hell, I'm complaining about another one. People are gonna complain regardless. I get it.
Right.
But I think for my award show that is dedicated directly to the art form of hip hop in all aspects, whether it's the b-boys, the graffiti, and all of that, I feel like mine is easier to get your people recognized and noticed. I've had the phone numbers of everybody from Drummer Boy to uh hell King Harris, T.I. son. Like I
Right.
have people's information. Like somebody like when I was working with T.I. son, the first thing that him and his manager was asking me was if I knew producers. I was like, yeah, I know plenty of producers,
Mm.
but I don't want to just send you. That I'm thinking to myself. I don't want to just send you just any old producer. I want to
Right.
make sure it gels properly within what it
With
is
what
that
you're
y'all are
doing.
trying to work on.
That's right.
And with the award show as a whole, that's what my goal is to make sure
Well, it's
that
needed. But see, you have the
people,
right proper perspective
yeah, give people the respect that they deserve, put people within
because
the rooms that they deserve to be in and all that. Then people don't even notice, but um, I think 2016, MC Rock was at the award show.
okay, okay.
People
See,
don't
that's
even know she was at the award. Not only was she at the award show, her daughter performed.
oh wow.
What more? What more for the genre of hip hop in this city do y'all want from me? I've included battles. I give out awards to the pioneers who paved the way prior to me, and I'm not just talking about the Coolie Girls and all of them. No
Right.
disrespect to them.
Right.
However, the
Right.
Coolie Girls and them, they are consistently um, um, shown recognition to. You know,
Yes.
they get their just dues and the just
Deservingly.
desserts and all that.
And they
They get that.
deservingly. Yeah. Yeah.
But
Deservingly. They got it.
when
Yeah.
when you talk to somebody like OG Fatal, I
There you
gave
go.
OG
I'm
I gave OG Fatal an award and he cried on stage because he said nobody has ever done that for him. I'm like,
I'm
how
finna get
no?
him on. I'm getting him on the show too.
Yeah,
That's
get
tenfold.
Fatal on, man. Like people
Oh,
don't respect
definitely.
Fatal the way they should respect Fatal, man. I mean, I get it. Fatal's older. He's
That's,
done it so
no,
fucking
no,
what?
they need to give him his and but see that's why your awards is so important because I always looked at it like this. Yes, you have the Chronicle, you have all the other different ones. Shout out to all of them and everybody that has their awards and everything else. But the more the merrier. The more and it goes back to what you said earlier when in the interview when you said you like looking for the people. You want to go
Hmm.
find the diamond in the rough. You want to see what's out there. You want to find that thing, not the commercialism of what has been created, but what's behind the scenes. And see, and that's what we need. That's the heartbeat of really what Austin really is about is that heartbeat. What
Yeah.
is behind that? What's going on in the street? What's happening in the street? Not saying that, like you said, no slight to any awards or anybody, whatever's going on. We need all of that. Everybody can do their own thing, but we do need something that's closer to the street where you say, okay, this person does this, and this. It may not
Hmm.
be commercialized as you think it is, but when you look at it and you put it up against somebody that is commercialized, you go, wow, this person's credits is way more vast than this person. But at
Hmm.
least you're putting a light on it so that it can be seen. And that's the whole point of it is that without having people like you showing that and giving people that opportunity, a lot of people won't get recognized, and that's a shame. I know that that's just a part of the game, but again, it is what it is. But we still need that, and sometimes you just gonna have to go off on your own, like you've done your whole career. Is just you know what I'm gonna do me. I'm gonna do my thing. I don't care whether it's you know televised, not televised, whether the Chronicle people, whoever respected, nobody respected the people were respected because I respect it a lot because I feel like we got awarded one me and Swole. I've heard so many other people that got the awards and it's still in the city from a street perspective. We all talk about it. All the producers and people that did the music and that are artists, we talk about your awards. So that means something to me and it should mean something to you because that's what's important. All the other stuff will come in time because that's really what we need. We need those things, especially now. We need it more than anything because again, it's a whole new generation of rappers out there, a whole new generation of producers and
Hmm.
singers and songwriters who are going in that same direction. They're not able to get uh, recognition or they're not able to push themselves up. And sometimes all you need is somebody to tell you did a good job. You've done something good. And that will help them to even elevate their self even further. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They just keep pushing on your neck ain't good. You know what I mean? Like you said, it's not a good look when you have all these people out here doing work and none of them are being recognized. And like you said, no slight to nobody because Coolie Girls they deserve all the recognition that they have,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
and all the people that have done everything. It's just like you said. It's just there's others that are behind that as well that didn't get that shine that they need to work on, and
Yeah.
that's what we want. We want to get everybody out there.
Yeah. And that's pretty much what my goal is, man. And I still want to award and reward, some of the ones that's already been, you know, awarded. But there's just a slew that haven't been, man, that are really, really, really working. I ain't talking about people who, they'll do a show once a month or once
No,
every six
right.
months or whatever, and it's always at the same location, or they're not really doing nothing to move or to push forward the culture. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about people that are really, really grinding, like College of Hip Hop Knowledge.
Mm,
Uh, Mr. Ebenezer and Big Tree and all them. Listen, man,
definitely.
those guys. When I tell you, them guys is hustling and working. Now, South by Southwest coming up, they have four certified South by Southwest events. They have, well, not events, but things. So they have the DJ is a certified. I think casinos are certified. The
Yeah.
group as a whole is certified. and then they have a residency that is a certified actual show.
Right.
Them boys is hustling, man.
Oh yeah, they own
They
it.
stay
They own
moving
it.
and hustling. Why
Oh
not?
yeah.
And here's what's crazy. They've been moving and hustling. This isn't new.
Oh no, no,
Now
no.
the
This is
South by
this is
Southwest thing may be new, but they've been hustling. They done put on festivals in the city and stuff like that.
you know what, man? It goes back to saying just like I'm gonna get Erica on here. I'm definitely gonna try to get Dank on here. It's something that we are all together. That's the problem. We all got to look at this as a whole. And I hate when they some people, I ain't gonna name who they were, but they put they kind of threw Erica and them in a situation where Erica and them they are pretty much the first. In my mind, always I look at them as just one of the greatest groups that started out in Austin. They really did a lot of work and they pushed out there and they worked they hardest. But the thing is, what you want is you really want to get everyone from that era, everyone from the next generation, everyone from the next generation, and you want to try to get all these people recognized as much as you can and give them their just due. Like you said, there's some people out there that's working they butt off and they just never get that shine. And I think, sometimes some of us that if they do get the shine, people go, oh, well, they always getting the shine. They always get the shine. And
Mm.
that's the point. And we should, as whoever it is out there that gets the shine, we should always try to put it back on some of the others so that they can get their shine because we know who is out here. We know who's grinding and who's working. And like you said, Casino, man, he out there doing this thing. Chili Red Beats, a lot of these guys that I know they've been out there doing this stuff for forever. OG Fatal. I mean,
Yeah,
hell, Sam Houston boys. I,
yeah,
I am, I ain't from Sam Houston. I wasn't from from they block, but I was one of the ones that did their music first, and was on some of their first productions, and so me being from Colony Park, we was connected through a lot of other different stuff from other things, from street stuff, and so I always look at them as one of the hell first. They had for all this Houston and all this kicked off, man, they were the first. I mean, they kicked it off. I mean, me and Fatal, all of us were on the same album together, one of the first Sam Houston Boy albums. And that album was hot. I mean, it had, you name it, Slim Thug, it had, hell, everybody, Big Mo, Pokey, you name anybody that was in Houston, they were all on that album. Album was great. But Sam Houston don't ever get, Adrian them, they never get that
yeah,
shine. But that's not. They may not be. Asian may not even be interested in doing. Even thinking in that mindset. They out here doing whatever they're doing. But I'm not. I'm not gonna let it go. I'm not gonna let Fatal go. I'm not letting none of that go because I feel like they deserve what they deserve. Just like you, I
yeah,
see all of you guys in the same boat. I don't see anything no different. It needs to be. You have to have your award show because it's important. We need that other alternative. It's just like we have South by Southwest. We need other shows that are going on at the same time as South by Southwest for people that can't get, the official. Why? Because there's other things going on in Austin other than just one thing. We are a collective. We have a whole bunch of different stuff going on.
yeah. I understand that. I want to just continue to make sure that it goes the way it needs to, and get the people the recognition that they deserve. I mean the ones that paved the way, of course. Because
And the new ones.
people forget. Yeah,
And the new artists.
for sure the new ones. But people tend to forget, and that's where I have a problem.
Right,
You know,
right,
is I don't care what profession you're in.
right.
You have to. I feel like you need to know who the OGs of that profession is to show them their respect.
That's true.
And
I
that
agree with
that
that.
that goes away from music. It goes towards anything. Like
Anything you do.
I wouldn't expect for. I don't if you're a chef, I wouldn't expect you to not know who Julia Childs is. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? You know
And
what I
if
mean?
you
Like,
didn't, it might be a problem. Like,
you know
do
what I mean?
you?
Like, and we ain't talking about your Gordon Ramsays and your Emerald Lagasse.
No,
We're gonna go back.
we're gonna go
We're
back.
gonna go
Yeah,
back. You know what I'm saying? Like, why you don't know who Julia Childs is, fam? Like, why you don't know the
the
Wolfgang Pucks
origins,
of the world, and
the
you know,
origins of your craft. Why don't you know
yeah,
the
like
origins of your craft?
it's like when you get to hip hop, we supposed to just feel once you hit a certain age, you're not allowed to rap no more. You're not
Man,
allowed to start rapping.
that
You
is
ain't supposed to do none of that
that's
shit.
a that's a crazy. That's just crazy. I thought about that the other day. Because one of my ex managers, she's really cool with a lot of the forefathers, the originators, and like the
Yeah,
back in them days. She grew up with Cool Herc and all them, and so I'm like, man, how you get old and then all of a sudden you're not relevant as far as like knowledge or even music or even putting out music. You still have something to say. You can't just
mhm.
like cut people off, man, and just say, okay, well, you hit this, like you said. I mean, look at look at soul music. I mean, you still have artists that are performing, even blues, shoot, rock and roll, and I mean, rock and roll. They got people that are literally 90 years old and they still performing and touring, and
Dude,
that's
I
crazy.
just watched the well, I think it's like July. I was at the Beto O'Rourke rally or whatever, and
Yeah,
Willie Nelson was out there performing.
man, and he's come
Ain't
on,
nobody
man,
tell Willie Nelson, nah, you too old for this. Ain't nobody say that.
ever, ever.
You know what I'm
Willie
saying? They
Nelson do what
only
he
do it
want to
within
do.
hip hop. And you know, people may be watching this talking about, well, oh well, yeah, but you know, he been established for some time. Okay, well, if that's what it is, when LL Cool J come down here and Rakim and all them, they come, then go support them. Then
That's right. That's right.
you know what I'm
You you
saying? They
you
still out here putting out bangers, real
yes,
music.
and they
You know
doing
what I'm
that, and
saying?
that's why we have such a diverse. I love the internet because of that reason. We're not, because think about it. If we didn't have the internet, we would not be able to have this discussion. This would be, you would only be able to get this on public access or something back in the day. You really wouldn't be able to see that. Nobody would be talking about none of this. So we
Yeah,
have at least something. We have a weapon to use. We just don't use it in the correct way. And now we need to start using it, especially people here in Austin. We have our own set of things that we do, and we just don't recognize it because none of us have really, it's like we work but we don't think about the work. I never did it. I just worked. I didn't think about what I was doing, and I think there's a lot of us like that. We just do the work, man. We're not interested in the fame and the glory and all that good stuff. But you got to
yeah,
have somebody say something. Somebody
yeah.
got to open
Every
their mouth and
time,
say something.
every time I get a wild hair up my ass, I'm getting in this damn studio and recording something.
You
I
got
don't
to.
fall into that. I mean, let me rephrase it. I used to fall into that belief system, and then I was like, but why? Well, what? Why are we? Why are you ever too old to do anything? And as far as if
Never.
it, why am I too old to go jet skiing if I want to? I didn't see
Music.
if I didn't see if I got problems with my body and say, yo, you can't go because if you hit
Right.
a wave wrong, you can break your hip. All right,
Right.
cool. But if I'm
Yeah.
in perfect health and I'm good, and man, leave me alone. Let me go do what I want to do. Let me go skydiving. Let me go. Well, I'm not for me per
like
se, but
like
just
you said, people want the music, man. It's music. It's what it is. It's music. It's what you feel. It's what you express. You don't know how many other people around the country, the world, whatever, are going through what you're going through. It ain't got no
mm,
age to it. It's what it is. When you hear a song, I don't care if you hear a song from the 60s, 40s, 30s, whatever time frame. That song, if you never heard it before, but you hear it, you go, oh man, I like that song. That song is really nice. That's what it is. It had nothing to do
mm,
with, oh, I need to go. Who is this? How old is this person? Why is he talking like that? Oh, I don't understand where you're coming from. That makes absolutely zero sense at all. It's an expression, it's a feeling. It's like artwork. Artwork has no, if it's art, it's art. It's just up there. You know what I mean? But man, we're gonna get on off this thing and conclude this. Man, this was fun. It was awesome, man. I'm so happy to get this off, and we're gonna put this up, and I can't wait to for people to see you, because that's the thing that my goal is now, is the same goal that you have, is to find the people, not only the people who I know and that are in the city,
Mm.
but people that maybe people don't know. Maybe some people do know them, they just don't know them in that way. And so, a lot of us are in that boat. A lot of people, we getting older, and some of them are younger, and they may not know who this person is or that person, and this is a good way to reference it.
Yeah, most definitely. I'll figure out a new marketing scheme for it, and I wanna be able to touch more artists that have never heard of it than artists that have heard of it. That way,
True.
we can really make sure we're involving as many people as we can involve. We don't
That's
have
right.
necessarily a date yet, but
Okay.
we're looking at fall. But at the same time, I want this. This is everything or bust.
Right. Right.
It has to go perfectly because you know I've people don't even understand this. I've received death threats behind the award show before.
Oh man, that's
Yeah, I'm
just
like,
sick. That's crazy. That's
yeah, I'm
crazy.
like, yo, if y'all listen, if y'all really feel like that, I want y'all to remember something and remember it really good. I'm from where the wire is real, fam.
God damn.
I
There we
want
go.
you to I want you to remember that. Like, don't don't get it twisted. I don't run the streets no more. I'm friendly. I shake hands and kiss babies and all that shit. But don't play with me,
Oh
man.
yeah, that's what
Don't
I'm
play
saying.
with me.
Like you said, people sometimes they let the smooth taste fool you. You don't let these curls
Yeah,
get you fooled, man. I am what I am. It's in you,
man.
and that's what you say. It's in you. You hope it never get to that point. Hope it
Yeah.
never, because
So
that's
now,
just ignorant.
dude. So now all I do, I work. I live I live my poly lifestyle over here by myself. I'm not really bothering nobody. I support I support locals. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
I could have my brand on right now sitting here, but nah, I'm one of the black money keepers. You know
There
what
you
I'm
go.
saying? Shout
Shout out
out
to them.
to yeah, shout out to them. Shout out to why did I just forget his name? James Franklin. Yeah, shout out to James
There you
Franklin.
go.
I don't know, I forgot his name. Um, and for all of those who are listening, watching, who've never heard the music, I'm George Vondoom on everything. All you gotta do is search George Vondoom and it'll pop up.
That's right.
Keep the music, cry a little bit, laugh a little bit,
That's right.
but
Enjoy it.
don't. But expect to hear music that can tug you emotionally in every way possible within one project, especially Depression of a King. And I was thinking, with that being said, I mean, I was thinking the other day, man, I've done a lot of stuff, man. I've done movies. I've done what, like just solo
Yeah.
projects or one person collab project. I got 5 projects. If we talking about music that I've been involved in, collaborations with multiple songs on a collab, man, I got like 14 projects, bro. Like I've done a lot of music. I've done a lot of entertainment things. Um, what is 50 Shades of Perfect Melanin was one of the movies. Red, White, and Melanin was another movie. Darker Than Night was another one. And then they just got done putting together a movie that was supposed to highlight the Yassins. You remember the Yassins,
Okay.
the ones that own the
Yeah.
clubs and shit downtown? Yeah.
Right.
So I just did
Very
a movie
familiar.
for that too. Yeah. For those who are watching who are not familiar with the Yassins, these fools owns uh, like eight or nine clubs downtown
Everything.
Austin.
Everything.
Yeah, they owned everything, and then they got caught up in drug trafficking. They had a
Yeah.
club with a Shark Tank and a dance floor.
Yeah, man, that was
Yeah,
crazy. That
yeah,
was really crazy.
yeah, man. But yeah. Other than that, man, again, George Vondoom on everything. Black Broly is the most recent project that is out now.
Okay.
Um, Alter Ego 2 with TPT is being worked on. The Voltron project, the new Voltron project, is being worked on. Um, Shout out to TPT, T Flasher, and Potent Tie. Shout
Okay.
out to them. We're still working on that. If you have not heard the original Voltron project, Voultron, it is on all streaming platforms also.
Gotcha.
Um, yeah, I mean, shit. I'm just over
Man,
here being me
check
and
him
working.
out, man. Y'all need to check him out. I'm getting ready to check out of this thing and get back to life as always. But man, I appreciate you coming on, man. And like I said, I'm doing this just to have fun with it and to just recognize a lot of people that in the city that are icons, man, that are working, that are really doing some really good things in the city. All right, man. As I always say, man, peace out.
Already, nothing but love, man. Good talking to you.
You know it.
Yep.